Hey there! Welcome to Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm looking at what I consider to be 5 overlooked horror films from the 1990s. Just a quick heads up, I'll be using images and trailers from the films in this video, and there'll be links to the trailers in the description down below. The 90s gave us huge horror classics like Scream, Silence of the Lambs and Misery. But while those films deserve all the attention they got, I think a lot of good horror films slipped under the radar. So these are 5 that I really love, and don't think get as much love as they should. I'll keep the spoiler free, so you can watch any that you like the look of. This is a ranking, but based on one simple question. Which am I most likely to re-watch right now? Now let's get to the countdown, starting at number 5, Perfect Blue, from 1997. This was based on the novel Perfect Blue, Complete Metamorphosis by Yoshikazu Takuchi, and was originally meant to be a live-action adaptation. But financing became difficult after the Great Hanshin earthquake in January 1995, but rather than cancel the film, the producers decided to turn it into an animated film, and Satoshi Kon came on board to direct. Luckily for us, he was given enough creative freedom to reshape much of the material, and created one of the more influential psychological thrillers. The novel did eventually get its live-action adaptation in 2002, but it's not regarded as being in the same league as Kon's animated film. Perfect Blue follows Mima, who's a member of a successful pop idol group, but wants to become a serious actress. Some fans don't like the change, and she thinks she's going crazy. One of them starts stalking her, at the time when she starts seeing what seems to be a ghost from her past, but is all as it seems to be. Now I love to watch anime, so once I heard about this one, it didn't take me long to watch it. And it did not disappoint. The plot may seem simple, but it keeps twisting and shifting, so you're in the same position as Mima, and trying to work out what is happening as you go along. Perfect Blue is a very dark anime with adult themes and strong but never flashy animation. It's a fascinating focus on identity, performance, and the fear of losing yourself. I don't think you need to be a fan of anime to enjoy this one, and I feel if you like psychological thrillers like Black Swan, the chances are you will love this one. And next up at number 4 is The Faculty from 1998. With Robert Rodriguez directing, Kevin Williamson writing, hot off his Scream success, and an absolutely awesome cast, including Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett, Selma Hayek, and Robert Patrick, who were all on top form. This was one I had heard a bit about, but didn't actually get around to watching for a fair while. The Faculty follows Harrington High School's newspaper photographer, Casey Connor, after he finds the body of one of the school nurses. Later, he sees her alive, and decides to investigate the bizarre happenings. It's basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers set in an American high school. The characters are so well written and acted that they never feel like typical teenage stereotypes, even when they initially seem to be. We've seen the group of misfits learning to work together dynamic before, but Kevin Williamson's sharp dialogue and memorable characters make the whole thing feel fresh. The practical creature effects still hold up well, and although some of the CGI now looks dated, it never takes away from how entertaining the film is. This one is a little better known than the others, but still doesn't get as much attention as I think it should. If you're a fan of teen horror from the late 90s, or films like Scream, Disturbing Behaviour, or Invasion of the Body Snatchers, this is one you really shouldn't miss. Next, and at number 3, we have Cronos from 1993. Cronos was Guillermo del Toro's feature film debut, and despite being made on a relatively modest budget, it went on to win the International Critics' Week Prize at the Cannes Film Festival, launching his career. It also marked the beginning of his long collaboration with Federico Lupi, whose performances became a key part of some of Del Toro's best films, like The Devil's Backbone and Pan's Labyrinth. It also features a brilliant, surprising performance from Ron Perlman in one of his earliest collaborations with Del Toro. Cronos follows Jesus Gris, who uncovers a mysterious device that is designed to provide its owner with eternal life. but his discovery soon has devastating consequences for everyone around him. The whole film has this elegant, almost old-world horror feel to it. It reminded me of those classic horror films in the way it's shot and performed, just with a much more visceral, brutal edge underneath it. This is Del Toro at his best, creative and beautifully shot, even at the beginning of his directing career. The scenery and visual effects are stunning. The only issue I do have is with the score. It seems to be disconnected from the visuals, which can bring you out of the film a bit at times. It's probably one of Del Toro's most underrated films, and one that had me completely captivated from the first scene. If you're a fan of old-fashioned horror films, I think you're going to adore this one. Next up, and at number 2, is In the Mouth of Madness from 1994. This is a final film in John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy, which also includes The Thing and Prince of Darkness. It also happens to be one of his least talked about films. It did flop at the box office, but thankfully over time has gained a cult following amongst horror fans. It's also one of the closest any film has come to capturing the feeling of a H.P. Lovecraft story, despite not actually being based on one. In the Mouth of Madness follows insurance investigator John Trent, who's hired to find out if the disappearance of a best-selling horror writer is genuine or just a publicity stunt. What he finds is that the impact of the writer's book is more than just superficial, and he ends up in a battle to save his own sanity. The film is so full of surprises, with some not-so-subtle nods to other horror classics, and moves along at a brisk pace. Ultimately, you're there for the ride with Trent, not knowing whether the events are in his mind or really happening, and that is a really terrifying form of horror. The practical effects and monsters are genuinely creepy, and still hold up incredibly well today. Sam Neill puts in an awesome performance in this film. Trent seems to be your classic Carpenter anti-hero. Not always likeable, but someone you can get on side with as everything around him starts to unravel. Lovers of Lovecraftian-themed movies should absolutely not sleep on this one. It really is a ride, and has an absolutely awesome ending that you won't forget. Okay, so coming in at number 1 is Event Horizon from 1997, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson and starring Lawrence Fishburne, and our second film in this countdown starring Sam Neill, who once again puts in a fantastic performance, leading an absolutely outstanding supporting cast. The director's initial cut was much longer, coming in at around 130 minutes, and featured far more explicit violence, especially during the infamous extended hell scene. According to people involved with the production, some of the footage was so extreme that it unsettled audiences, leading to the studio demanding substantial cuts. Years later, effects supervisor Peter Lloyd reportedly found a VHS tape with a copy of this cut on it, but it's thought to be too poor quality to use on a release, so we'll probably never get to see it, and that's a shame. Personally, I thought the cut that was released was already graphic and horrific enough, although I wouldn't mind seeing the director's cut as a one-off, just to see what we're missing. Like In the Mouth of Madness, it didn't do too well at the box office on release, but has since gone on to become a genuine cult favourite. Event Horizon follows a rescue crew who is sent to investigate the long-lost starship Event Horizon, after it suddenly reappears after disappearing without a trace. What they discover aboard the ship quickly turns their mission into a nightmare. The whole cast give outstanding performances, and although the cut we got was violent enough, the film doesn't rely on the gore alone. It's the atmosphere, the ominous score, and the cinematography that makes the film so disturbing. I highly recommend hunting down where you can watch this one as soon as possible. It is awesome, and has visuals you will never forget. Okay, so that's all for this video. What's your favourite film from the list? Have I missed one from the 90s that you love? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but remember, this is only my opinion of these films. It would be a boring old world if we all like the same things. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and click that bell. I would love to have you back with me for more. This is Jackie signing off. Take care and see you next time.